comments on the
My screen, oh, that's going. Can you see my title now, please? Good. Okay, great. Fine. So I'm Leslie Seymour. This is where I'm from, Portsmouth, which is full of ships and seafarers. And that's where I got my superstition that we mustn't whistle or sing into the wind, otherwise you whistle up a storm. I left Portsmouth, went up to London. No one said farewell to me, which is important as a seafarer. You mustn't say farewell. And I enjoyed London. And in London, I got around with my little Mini. And I graduated to a Mini Cooper. But I thought, I don't know, I really want to see something of the world. So I got out my battered passport and I got on the way to Australia. And Australia is quite a big country, as you can see. You can fit the whole of Europe in it. And for those of you who are not sure where Australia is, there's a map of the world seen by Australians. And I started my journey here. I went through to Turkey. I couldn't get into Iraq, so I had to cut through Syria, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iran, saw Shiraz, and went then to Afghanistan with all the tribal people through the Khyber Pass, which is quite fun, Pakistan, India. Couldn't get into Burma because unfortunately the border was closed. So I had to spend some money with a plane to Malaysia, down to Indonesia, down to Timor and into Australia. So there I was, top of Australia, up there. And of course I arrived with £5 in my pocket. That's all I had left because of all the extra airfares. So I had to earn money quickly. And I saw an advert, come and drive one of our vehicles. I thought, great. Got in it with the guy who owns it. We went around the block, gave me a bit of paper, said, right, take that down to the police and they give you a proper form, a proper license. Oh, great. So they gave me a license. I came back and I thought, that's funny. It says 150 tons on it. Well, I don't know why 150 tons is ridiculous. So I showed it to the guy. I said, yes, we'll introduce you to your vehicle tomorrow. And there's my vehicle. Now, it's a bit bigger than the Mini. Actually, funny enough, would you believe it's not the biggest you can see in Australia? And you can't back it. I gave up trying to back this thing. It's impossible. But I got used to the 18 gears and the bull horns. And I started setting off on the track. It's called the track, by the way, would you believe? The Australians have called this a track. It's actually the Stewart Highway. And there's nothing apart from the kangaroos. And occasionally you meet a truck coming in the other direction. So that's something you might see once in 2 days. You might see 3 cars in your journey before you get to Alice Springs. And you wave and he toots back. Sometimes you stop. And just before Alice Springs, you have a problem because the road, the tarmac finishes and you've got all this red dust. And you're covered in dust, everything, it goes everywhere, you won't believe it. And this is a journey from there all the way down to here. It's a long way. Along the way, you've got to go past all these signs. And actually, the ones you're going to watch out for the most are the kangaroos. I'm afraid I did kill one, I'm very sorry to say. They jumped out right in front of me. And I tell you, if you're driving a 130-ton vehicle, you don't stop very quickly. And of course, you don't stop and have a swim. Seriously, the crocs will eat you. And in fact, I'm told they prefer the Germans, but we think it's because they can't read English, saying don't swim here. And fortunately, there's a few signs for the other cars on the road. This is one overtaking the vehicle, reminding you that this road train is 53 meters long. So you've got to allow a certain amount of time to get past. So you've got to make damn sure nothing's coming the other way. And of course, you get the welcoming signs. Alice Springs, only another 1,000 miles. And this is the journey, all the way down to Alice Springs. Takes 2 or 3 days. I thought, great, it'd be nice to have Christmas coming up soon. I'll be able to enjoy Christmas on the beach. But however, no one told me Darwin is in the wet zone. In the wet zone, you're afraid you can't drive. So I went into the local hotel to celebrate Christmas, saw this on a television screen. What's that? Oh, it's a strong wind coming, and a big blow, they call it. Well, the big blow wiped out the city, and they said that the place died. And give you an example, I was in this hotel, there's a helicopter lifting the cars out of the swimming pool on the roof. And this is what it's like in terms of the damage to the buildings. This is our house. In fact, it was previously on top of those pillars, but it got blown away. So we all got evacuated, of course. And I got evacuated down to here, to a place called Brisbane. About a 5-hour flight. got a job in the Golden Circle pineapple factory. And my job was sorting the pineapple slices. Because when you cut a pineapple, it's in different colours. You're going to make sure all the same colours go into the can, or the housewife will return it saying something's wrong. So from that experience, I know when I'm sailing around the world, and I see these clouds, I never whistle or sing into the wind. Particularly if I see these things, which are called mare's tails, that means there's a storm in the area. I don't want to see one of those things again, because I remember working in the pineapple factory, hearing the wind the whole time. But I suppose the worst comes to the worst. If I hit another one, I can escape with my passports I collected around the world. Go back to England, perhaps go to Ireland, perhaps go to Belgium, or for that matter, perhaps go back to my lovely Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Leslie, your objective tonight was to introduce Leslie to the club. And what an absolutely wonderful introduction that was. Leslie took us on a grand tour of both his life and the world, which I absolutely loved. He achieved this by using a deck of slides. Now, before I go too much further, I'm going to quickly explain how I'm going to give this feedback. I'm going to give a commendation, an improvement, and then one takeaway. So, starting off with the commendation, the slide deck. It is very, very easy when it comes to slide decks to just write out your notes bit by bit and then just have those as your slides. No, Leslie said. He said, no, I will not do that. He went with images instead. I could see just how much research went into that. I think it was over 100 images. That is truly impressive. I absolutely loved how organically that whole deck of images went by as he talked us through each one of them, giving us a miniature speech for each of those 100 slides. It was absolutely fantastic. However, that brings me on to an improvement for Leslie. While he was going along, I did notice that each image had to be adjusted so we could view them clearly. At times, this felt very, as I say, very organic. He was zooming us in on little bits and features for us to concentrate on. But this meant that bringing ourselves back to, as I was saying earlier, the pathway, one of the objectives is to connect with the audience. While Leslie is there fiddling with the images, it is not possible for him to make that connection with the audience. So I would suggest that Leslie has all of those images prepared ahead of time in the correct framing and size. And now finally, my takeaway. I will not be whistling into the wind. I will definitely take that little superstition away with me. And coming back to the start, he met that objective superbly. I feel we now all know a lot more about Leslie. Welcome to the club, and thank you very much.
Thank you.